we'll be talking landscaping. Won't that be fun?
Are you sure that the snow will be gone?
I'm talking landscaping, it's gonna be spring, darn it.
We can talk about it.
We can talk about it all day long, we may be digging out snow to do it.
What are we anticipating on landscape?
Oh, this
This is
was,
replacement, this is redesign, or it is maintenance?
this was one of the big projects that was in the building evaluation plan. If you recall, the far corner of the lot back by the former Bocce building, the lot, it actually slopes toward the building. This is the regrading, and with the parking lot project, taking out some of the bushes that have reached the end of their life expectancy, et cetera, and just looking at the landscaping as a whole with the parking lot project and what the village provides.
Should we have a meeting?
Well, I was just asking.
Building
because
and grounds, maybe.
Building and grounds, I really think we need to take and look at, where our spaces, I guess, is what I'm looking at.
Especially
There would be-
plants being here, though.
Yes, so I think that would be appropriate for us to have a building and grounds.
You want to schedule that now, or do you want to wait till
Who
April?
is not here that's on building and grounds?
Samantha.
Samantha. She's generally available? I don't know. We can make a tentative date and then change it.
And then I can, inquire as to whether it works.
Our board meeting in April is the 16th.
Yes, it is.
Okay, is it better to have this before? Or, I don't know whether we'll be prepared with,
Well, we
Or
can do a
after.
walk around.
Well, yeah.
oh, it'd be lovely if the weather would cooperate.
What's your pleasure?
Well, I don't know which, week, because Julie said she's coming back to different times.
Oh, it'll be fun.
So, are we looking at the week of the 14th, when the board meeting is? We could meet just before board meeting?
I will be here on the 14th and the 15th.
Can we do maybe Monday the 14th? Is a Monday good? Yes? Let's try for Monday the
A
14th.
little bit earlier in the
That
evening
would
so we
be
can
fine.
see.
Yes, that would be fine. As a matter of fact, yes, if we meet at 6, it should be plenty of
Yeah.
time. Let's try for 6.
Lance, is that good with you?
Sure.
They're going to expect you to be here?
Sure, he
Sure.
says.
Is that 6 a.m.?
Now
No,
would
we're
be.
not on head of maintenance schedule.
Okay, good. Good, that's a little extra. All right, we have policy update after our in-service, and we found out things that should be done. Julie read the entire orders revised.
Start to finish, and looked up some of the FAQs for the official Roberts rules because I was still confused.
So, in your packet on page 79, we have what the March 10th, 2014 agenda would look like in the order of business, and then bylaw as recommended would maybe make this kind of switch. And look that over and see if you have questions. It maybe defines the action items a little bit better about the unfinished and the new business. So,
And I think maybe this was more the format they were carrying on at the conference, trustees workshop. Seems to be that kind of a format.
any reactions or to this? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Problems? And So we can vote on this agenda, this recommendation for the bylaw, order of business, and then we'll talk about this committee.
Well,
Or do you want that all
you
put in
actually
there?
can't vote on your bylaws yet because it
Oh, that's
wasn't
right, it's
out
not
in
posted,
writing.
that's
Right.
right.
It wasn't out in
Okay.
writing far enough in advance of
That's
the
right.
meeting to be, and it has to be in writing to all trustees at least 10 days prior to
Right.
the vote. So you can say, yeah, we think this is what we're gonna do, and then we'll vote on it next month and it'll be official.
So, and that would also include the reports for the committees.
Yes, because
That's
those are both
right.
pieces of the bylaws.
So look them over, commit them to memory.
As I
There'll be a
recall,
quiz.
what we had concerns about before was what was technically unfinished business and what was new business
Uh-huh.
was sometimes difficult. Was there any recommendation of what to do in that situation that you have discovered in terms of how to know which category something
It is
is?
only considered unfinished business if it is something that the board has not acted upon previously. Now, that being said, you did one cleaning service contract, today you did a different one. That would have been new business tonight, because it was a new round of contract. If we had the contract presentation and not made a decision, it would go on the next meeting as unfinished business.
If we weren't sure of something and wanted to go back and check on it.
Right. Or if there was a two-part vote where, maybe a multi-part project where we would vote on a beginning and not necessarily all of the
Now,
pieces.
does new business also include areas that have not necessarily been on the agenda for consideration to be put on an agenda for another meeting?
No, because it's only, that portion of the agenda is only for action items.
Okay. That's for the next time. Now we have the request for reconsideration of material for sister, and we have that, recommendation from
Veronica DeFazio and Michelle Rubel, the head of youth services and head of reference and reader services respectively, who did both volunteer. One of the duties of the staff committee in a request for reconsideration of materials is to either read or view the entire piece, whatever it is. And they both like indie films, so they said yes to doing this one. It is an independent film that is award-winning. So when I spoke to the woman who placed the request for reconsideration, she did not realize when she checked it out that it was an R-rated movie. And that being said, it is in really small type. But it does have,
You don't have like a spine label or anything? on
no,
those
we
types
do
of-
not.
So I wondered whether that's something that,
Yeah, because a lot of libraries do, not those stickers.
Yeah, we try not to put too many stickers on anything, because then you start covering up the cover art and the description and all that sort of thing. So we actually try to do as few stickers as we possibly can. So
but
Is there
the
a certain
R-rated are not
section,
all
or
together.
is there a certain section they're in so that?
no, but the R-rated movies are only upstairs. That adult, none in the teens, none in the children's, obviously. Everything in the youth services, everything on the purple shelves, makes it really easy to designate, is G or PG. Anything that's PG-13 would be in the teen area. They can also be PG if it's more of a teen,
Teen,
and,
yes.
but if it's an
Card.
R-rated,
Is
it's
there
a,
a card show that they can check that out?
nope, that's up to their parents to deal with. We put the onus on the parents to control what their children are reading or viewing. It is their responsibility. If they do not want their child to have a card, they do not have to get them a library card. The parent can choose to use only their own card, and that is an option. And some of our parents do take that option.
And we've come a long way in this process because we've had in our policies all kinds of rules and regs, but what it really boils down to is that it's the parent's responsibility. But this isn't a child, this was an adult.
This was an adult.
And you think it was shock value for this patron to make this? Because it was not in the teens, it was in the adult section, correct?
This particular individual picked up a Hallmark Channel movie and then picked up this and thought it sounded interesting and obviously did not read the cover thoroughly. This is someone who would not, had she noticed the R rating, would not have checked it out. But that being said, when she put the DVD in, when you put it in
Comes right up.
and it starts,
Yeah, that's
what
true.
comes up? The
That's
green
true.
screen, and what does it say?
What the reading
It
is.
says exactly what is
R-rated.
here,
Yeah.
and it tells you not only that it's R, but why it's rated R.
So you can't be popping the popcorn while you're. You wanna know what's gonna go.
Yeah, exactly. Or fast forward.
The FBI warning and the,
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
You just let it go.
Well, I think we, personally, I appreciate the length that Veronica and Michelle went to make sure that they had covered all of the aspects of this. And when you're reading the bylaws and how we worded that, it has all of those things. So
It does have all of the.
I appreciate that they were very thorough in their recommendation and in their. Any other questions?
Accept the recommendation.
So we accept that recommendation
Yes.
and Michelle. And we are tabling the Friends of the Library request to approve the 2014 Arts and Crafts Fair. But did you want to speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, what I,
Vicki?
as far as what I need to get approval for actually is so that we can start sending out the request form, the guidelines, and the deer so that we can, so we know how many people are going to come out. And,
So more of the request
This
to
is what it is.
hold it
yeah,
and not the request to close the parking lot.
correct.
Okay.
And this is what it is, it's, I've got guideline form and out the cost and the date, and when they have to turn their fees in, and just what they have to do to have the booth and the setup fee, and that we're not having electric and that kind of stuff.
Third week in September, just as prior years.
Yeah,
93, so what you're asking for, or what the Friends are asking for is approval to hold. the
yeah,
event.
that day,
Okay.
hold it
Okay, so that.
And then we'll worry about parking lot.
Right, so I did go to the police department and I did get a turn in the open, air, or open meeting act, whatever it is, so I did get that turned in
Okay.
too.
So we do need a motion then to approve the 2014 Arts and Craft Fair with just exactly where it will be held on the
Right.
roads is yet to.
Yeah. And our feeling was it was gonna be like we had it the years before in the same locations. We're not asking to close the street off, because we do have now more room. But, we're just figuring out how to.
Yes, just Anita, there was another committee member that was asking about, should we be asking for the whole parking lot, part of the parking lot, back and forth about, have we checked booth sizes, how many booths can?
But we don't know
and-
because we don't know the amount of
Exactly.
people that are going
So-
to give it. And you don't know that until we start sending requests out. I did go to a vendor fair at Plainfield East a couple weeks ago and just checked out their booths, and I've got a bunch of cards from different vendors that are interested or already have been to our craft show and want to be involved in our craft show already. So I do have quite a few people that are already interested in ours. But they want to make, they want a date so that they can hold their date.
Yeah, we
open.
understand that.
And I couldn't give them one. So we didn't.
Okay, so a motion to approve the 2014 Arts and Crafts Fair.
For Saturday, September 20th.
To a motion, if this item has been tabled, take it off the agenda.
Oh, we didn't.
We didn't take it off.
Yeah, Vicky said
Yeah,
she
she
still
said
wanted
right
to,
there.
so we said, okay, we'll leave it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it is not tabled.
No,
For
right
sure.
before, yeah.
Okay.
So I move that we approve the date of the third weekend in September with details to be determined
I
for
second.
space usage.
Moved in second, all in favor of that motion, aye.
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 Those opposing or those abstaining? That motion carries. Good, now you can be on your way.
Now we're
Yes.
arts and crafting.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay,
No, I got one.
Crystal isn't here to talk about board development, but I think she's left
Yes.
Julie information that she can share.
In talking to Crystal about the field trip idea, in my librarian's report, you did see that we had talked about the Open Meetings Act concern of doing a full board tour of other library facilities. Now, it has been done by other libraries. The stipulation being that the board cannot have any discussion during that, confined remarks to simply the architectural features that you're seeing, and to save all your discussion for coming back here, having an actual open meeting and using your notes to discuss what you saw as it applies to our library. One of the ways that some of these other libraries have affirmed to their community that they have abided by the Open Meetings Act was to invite a member of the public along for their tours to be the representative of the community and to ensure that no discussion takes place outside of an open meeting. But because that is a very much a decision that Crystal did not feel comfortable making for the board, that she really felt that we needed the consensus of the whole group to either proceed with that or for the board development committee to go back and look at what other alternatives there are for touring other libraries. And so she's putting it out there to you, how would you feel about doing tours as a group and inviting a member of the public, say maybe our favorite filming person, to come along with us?
Sorry, if I could mention, I know the village board recently did something that might be similar, where they were talking about housing standards in the village. So they had a Saturday that they wandered around 3 or 4 developers' properties, and what they did was they put it on the agenda as a meeting that any member of the public could come to any of the addresses, and sort of commute there and do the walkthrough with the board members at will and see as much or as little of that tour as they wanted. And I don't know, it's probably worth talking to someone there who organized it, how they felt that met that requirement or not.
The one difference here is that we would be traveling to libraries in other communities
Uh-huh.
and touring those facilities where, depending on the number of people who showed up, could be a little problematic.
Sure.
But yes, we could absolutely post what libraries we were going to and when,
Uh-huh.
so that if anyone wanted to tag along, they would be more than welcome.
Question, if you go to the libraries, you said, can we ask them a question at the library about?
Yes, about the
We just
facility.
can't-
About their
yes.
facility.
About their
Yes.
facility. Yes,
We
you
couldn't
can.
say, well, do we want to have it this way or this way? We can't
Right.
do that, but we could
Right.
say, well, I like that or that, but it's.
And we
can't
can even
make
talk to
it
them
we
about
ask
their
them.
process.
I mean,
Yes.
How
we
did
ask
you
them how they
decide,
do
what did
this.
you?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's how those things would pertain to our library and what this group might do with that information that would have to be done in an open.
Well, and the other thing is, if we truly had something we needed an answer about how we do something, you are the person who is there and are not a member of the board, therefore we can ask you.
As long as you're not discussing it amongst yourselves,
Right.
that's, you're okay.
And you would be coming
Informational, absolutely. You
Just wanna
probably
verify
have, you would
that.
probably have both Lisa and I at any of these tours. We might even let them come along if she's okay.
Well, I feel comfortable with this method. I would suggest that we probably want to do something like have a form that we would use then and all use in conjunction with one another so that we could talk about those things in a more organized way when we get back.
Mhm.
I think it would be
Right.
helpful
So-
for us to organize.
Right, and so that you can recall,
Right.
you know.
Right, but rather than relying on individual notes and then one person
Right.
notices something and somebody
That's
else
a great
didn't,
idea.
and we don't have the same reactions. If we
Yeah.
have things that we're looking for,
Oh,
I
right.
think that would be
Well,
helpful.
and just being able to discuss it in a group like this, to be able to go through it.
And flip there and see, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
we're all in the same section.
Yeah.
And Not that there's not gonna be things that, you know, one person's gonna notice, another person's not gonna
Sure.
care about. You know, there's always gonna be that.
Yeah. So,
That's a good idea. Or, checklist. So I think we just have to have that consensus to get back to
All right, and
Crystal, and do you have
and
a date
then-
in mind?
we have tentatively marked out Thursday, April 24th. Now, the next thing that we will need to do, of course, is now we have to contact these other libraries and be sure that they can actually accommodate tours by our board on that day.
right. And this is a daytime.
That's,
Yes, this would be an all-day fun. Some of the libraries, now, we may not be able to do all of the libraries that we're targeting, but the idea was Arlington Heights, Niles, possibly, other possibilities would be Fountaindale and looking at the White Oak facilities that have been recently renovated and built. And that's in Lockport, Presto, and Romeo Brothers. So,
that is Easter, the week after Easter. Are
Yes.
there
Mhm.
children on?
No, break is next week around here.
no, break is next week and they get the 18th off, other than that, that's it.
What time are we talking about leaving?
We'd probably be like, we'd probably look at like a 9 to 4. 9 to 5. Depending on traffic. Try to be at, depending on what we make our first library, if we could get to Arlington Heights first, maybe do try to do a 10 a.m. tour there. So,
You'll bring that to Crystal and.
absolutely,
and
if
make
that
sure
is
everybody's
acceptable
coming.
to all.
Is everybody looking like they might be able to put that together?
I'm gonna have to double check on that.
And how about the Gretchen? Gretchen, is that something that probably?
Yeah.
Lisa's so happy that I'm giving her more to do while I'm gone.
No. We're laughing about the date,
Yeah.
because we've got
Uh-oh.
Vicky looking.
What did we forget?
nothing for me to worry about.
Are you puzzled?
Other than it's Deb's birthday.
What's Deb's birthday then?
We won't make her, yeah, it's another reason.
Maybe we won't make her walk. And it's the day after Administrative Professionals Day, so she always
Oh,
gets
man, that
that.
would be
Oh, I see that on my.
We won't make her walk.
All right, so you will get back to Crystal about that.
I will.
That's exciting. I mean,
Now we're going to have a livery with all of the amenities and lunch.
Well, there will be lunch. As for
Bring your
livery,
own
it
box.
will probably be Lisa and I driving unless somebody else volunteers. Yeah, gotta remember, I got the 8-passenger minivan, everybody just hop in the van. We're going.
And then the next thing on that is that
Are we gonna start for the public voting?
we'll
Yes, we can.
get a public
I think we should invite the young man.
You're gonna come too?
I have to work that day.
Get on the bus.
Oh.
We'll all be there. But you can at least go and visit the libraries we visit, 'cause we're going to some good ones.
And then we have the per capita requirements.
For 2015.
Any big changes in that?
Well,
I was reading through.
Two things. Number one is that there is a review of a chapter of the standards. However, notice that that is the third edition of the standards. Those will be coming out next month. So you will have your new edition of Serving Our Public Standards for Illinois Public Libraries. So we can't do that until we have our new copies. They have been ordered. And then on the back page, if you have a look under the technology section, the notice that in number one, at least one of the library staff and one board member must attend an informational webinar or in-person session about the EDGE initiative. So, I will be sending along all the information about the EDGE webinars and in-person sessions, so at least one of you will have to volunteer. Bear that in mind.
Does it mean you have to understand what they're talking about?
The good news is, that's what it is, these will be introductions.
Okay.
For, at least for the board members, that's what we're looking for. And if you read through it, you don't even, the requirements this year for the libraries are not even to complete the EDGE assessment, it's simply to prepare yourselves to complete the EDGE assessment, which means they're gonna crawl through this process. As one of the soft launch libraries for the state of Illinois who did the Library EDGE initiative 6 months ago, and we've already implemented some of the things from our assessments, such as the increase in our bandwidth for our internet connections, you know, they're kind of crawling through it. So I will have to attend at least one webinar. I've already done at least half a dozen with them, but apparently those don't.
Well, I will volunteer, because I actually find it kind of interesting. I would
Okay.
be glad to be the trustee to do it.
It's working.
Golf ball.
I'm living on the edge.
Now, the environmental scan, that was
Yes.
the gal who came.
That was the
and
SWOT
worked with
analysis
us
that we
last
did,
time.
yes. And so the next piece is to talk about the budget and to talk about your fiscal plan needs that you are serving. Why, yes, it's amazing, it's
Right.
right there, because it's
That's what we
budget
do.
season, so.
Well, and, you know, there's that thing that we aren't gonna talk about.
Well, that's why we're going to visit other libraries.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions about the
And then Carl's gonna give us a full report on that.
Monthly
Absolutely.
webinars.
Oh, good.
I'll make a PowerPoint.
Good, excellent.
So we
I
can all
understand
sleep
they're
through it.
fading, so.
Exactly, no. My PowerPoints are very good.
Okay, and it's my understanding we have nothing to go to the executive session about.
Oh.
And so guess what? I would entertain.
Move to
a
adjourn.
motion.
Move to adjourn.
If I may, briefly, sorry, I realized public comments were at the beginning, but may I?
Well, we're going to adjourn, and then if you'd like to say something after that. we'll do that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we move to adjourn, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Those opposing or those abstaining? Very good, thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't remember
Yes.
your name, I just,
Raoul.
I thought you were gone, no,
Yeah.
I would have used your name, but I don't know how you were gone.
She had stepped out and then came back.
Yeah.
And there was a stack of chairs that was
I
very.
understand
tiny.
and applaud your decision on your sister's sister and putting the onus on parents is absolutely the right way to go. So, thank you for doing that. But I was curious, is there an official policy for movies which are unrated?
For us, any movie that is unrated would also be in the adult section. We don't keep any of those in the teen or youth sections. In general, we can only afford to buy the most popular of feature films and award-winning things, so that's what we've got.
I'm not knocking